When we think of ships, we often imagine sleek vessels slicing through the sea. But not all ships are designed for speed or elegance. Some are engineered to be absolute behemoths. These are the floating giants, the titans of steel and ambition, built not just to sail, but to carry cities, oil fields, war machines, or even other ships. In the world of maritime engineering, FAT doesn't just mean wide, it means volume, function, complexity, and sheer audacity. These vessels stretch the limits of physics and logistics, turning the ocean into a highway for the unimaginable. From cruise ships the size of small towns to oil tankers that can transport entire nations' energy supplies, these are the heaviest, widest, bulkiest ships ever to take to water. Some float like skyscrapers laid on their sides, others act like mobile cities, and a few even carry entire oil rigs across continents. Whether built for luxury, logistics, warfare, or industry, they all share one thing in common: they're ridiculously, unapologetically massive. Welcome to the world of the fattest ships ever built, where scale meets spectacle and the ocean is just another road for the truly enormous. The pioneering spirit. The pioneering spirit is unlike any other ship on Earth. Operated by Swiss company ULCVs, it's not meant to haul cargo or crude oil. Instead, it lifts and installs massive offshore oil and gas platforms and lays subsea pipelines on the ocean floor. At 382 meters long and 124 meters wide, it's the widest ship ever built, wider than a football field and over twice the wingspan of a Boeing 747. Completed in 2016 by Daewoo Shipbuilding, the vessel was purpose-built for a radical task: lifting entire platform topsides in a single motion. Using a slot between its twin hulls, its synchronized hydraulic lifting beams can raise up to 48,000 metric tons, the equivalent of 5 Eiffel Towers, often in rough seas where traditional cranes struggle. Its other specialty? Pipeline construction. The pioneering spirit played a key role in laying Nord Stream 2, one of the world's most complex and controversial subsea pipelines. Powered by 12 azimuth thrusters, it maintains pinpoint position without anchors, essential when working above delicate seafloor infrastructure. With a crew of 570, the ship houses high-tech control centers, satellite comms, and full onboard amenities. It doesn't carry cargo, but it redefines what's possible at sea. The Emma Murk, a giant of global trade. When launched in 2006, the Emma Murk set a new benchmark for cargo shipping, becoming the largest container ship in the world and ushering in the age of ultra-large container vessels, ULCVs. Built by Odense Steel Shipyard in Denmark for AP Moller Maersk, this engineering marvel stretches 397 meters, 1,302 feet, in length, with a beam of 56 meters, 184 feet, and a deadweight tonnage exceeding 156,000 tons. It can transport over 15,000 TEUs, 20-foot containers, stacked up to 8 high above deck and more below, enough capacity to move vast volumes of global trade in a single voyage. Beyond size, the Emma Murk was a pioneer in fuel efficiency, equipped with one of the world's most powerful diesel engines, generating 109,000 horsepower. A waste heat recovery system improved fuel efficiency by up to 12%, a major innovation for the time. With a draft of 16 meters, 52 feet, it requires specialized deep-water ports. Yet, despite its massive scale, it operates with a crew of just 13 to 20, thanks to advanced automation, electronic navigation, and anti-piracy systems. Though newer vessels have since surpassed it, the Emma Murk remains a symbol of the speed, scale, and sophistication of modern shipping. Wonder of the seas, the world's largest cruise ship. If cruise ships were judged not just by size but by their ability to function as full-scale floating cities, Wonder of the Seas would take the crown. Operated by Royal Caribbean International, it is currently the largest cruise ship in the world, launched in 2022 and built in France. Measuring 362 meters, 1,188 feet in length, 64 meters, 210 feet in width, and weighing over 236,000 gross tons, it's a behemoth of modern engineering. This Oasis-class marvel carries up to 7,000 passengers and 2,300 crew, giving it a population of more than 9,200, larger than many towns. Spread across 18 decks, It features 8 themed neighborhoods, including Central Park, with over 20,000 live plants, a lively boardwalk, and a private suite neighborhood for high-end travelers. Entertainment on board is overwhelming, from theaters and water parks to surf simulators, a 10-story dry slide, ice rink, laser tag, escape rooms, and over 20 bars and restaurants. It's essentially a self-contained entertainment district, powered by 6 marine diesel engines generating 96,000 kilowatts. It uses dynamic GPS positioning to hold location without anchors. More than just massive wonder of the seas is a luxury mega-resort at sea, redefining what it means to cruise. CGM Jacqu Sardai, the largest LNG-powered container ship. The CGM Jacqu Sardai is a milestone in maritime engineering, remarkable not just for its size, but for being the largest container ship in the world powered by liquefied natural gas, LNG. Delivered in 2020 and named after CGM's late founder, this behemoth signals a shift toward cleaner shipping. Stretching 400 meters, 1,312 feet long and 61 meters, 200 feet wide, it boasts a gross tonnage of around 236,000 tons and can carry 380 people over 23,000 TEUs, stacked up to 9 containers high and across 24 rows. Built by China State Shipbuilding Corporation, it's the first in a class of 9 LNG-fueled megaships. Instead of traditional bunker fuel, it runs primarily on LNG stored in cryogenic tanks at -162 degrees Celsius, cutting emissions dramatically. 99% less sulfur dioxide, 91% less particulates, and 20% less CO2. Its dual-fuel engine allows flexibility between LNG and conventional marine fuels. Despite its scale, the ship runs with a crew of just 25, supported by automation systems like real-time cargo tracking, energy monitoring, and AI-driven navigation. Ports such as Rotterdam, Singapore, and Hamburg have upgraded to handle its immense reach. The Jacqu Sardai isn't just big, it's the future of green shipping, already afloat. USS Gerald R Ford, the heaviest and most advanced aircraft carrier ever built. The USS Gerald R Ford, CVN-78, is the heaviest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier ever built. Commissioned in 2017, it marks the start of the Ford class, a new era in US naval dominance. At 337 meters, 1,106 feet, long, and with a flight deck 78 meters, 256 feet wide, it's longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall and nearly as broad as a stadium. Tipping the scales at about 100,000 tons, this nuclear-powered supercarrier is a floating fortress designed for 21st century warfare. Powered by 2 A-1B nuclear reactors, the ship can operate for over 20 years without refueling, generating nearly 3 times the electrical output of its Nimitz-class predecessors. That energy drives systems like the EMALS, Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, and advanced arresting gear, replacing traditional steam catapults for smoother, more efficient aircraft operations. The carrier can support 75-plus aircraft, including FA-18s, MH-60R helicopters, and the stealthy F-35C Lightning II. Its dual-band radar, automated weapon systems, and stealth-optimized design enhance both offensive and defensive capabilities. With a reduced crew size of around 4,500, thanks to automation, the USS Gerald R Ford operates like a floating city, complete with command centers, medical bays, mess halls, and gyms. From above, it looks like a mobile island, built for global reach and unmatched power projection. HMM Aljazeera, a giant among container ships. Launched in 2020, the HMM Aljazeera is a colossal milestone in container shipping and a point of national pride for South Korea. Operated by HMM, formerly Hyundai Merchant Marine, it was the first vessel in the world to surpass a capacity of 23,000 TEUs, boasting an astonishing 23,964 TEU limit. Stretching 399.9 meters, 1,312 feet long, and 61 meters, 200 feet wide, it's among the largest container ships ever constructed, nearing the maximum size permitted by the Suez Canal. Built by Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, It was the flagship in a dozen ultra-large vessels ordered to accommodate the surging pace of global trade. When fully loaded, the ship displaces over 228,000 gross tons and sits 16.5 meters, 54 feet, deep in the water, requiring only the world's most advanced deep-water ports such as Rotterdam, Busan, and Singapore. A MAN G95 ultra-long-stroke engine powers the ship at 22 knots, supported by exhaust scrubbers to comply with IMO 2020 sulfur limits. It also features real-time energy monitoring, advanced ballast treatment, and low-friction hull coatings for better efficiency. From the sky, it looks like a grid of rainbow-colored containers. From sea level, it looms like a mobile wall of steel. The HMM Aljazeera is a modern logistics titan. P&O's Iona, Britain's largest cruise ship. The Iona, operated by P&O Cruises, stands as the largest cruise ship ever built for the British market. Delivered in 2020 by Germany's renowned Meyer Werft shipyard, this seafaring giant stretches 344.5 meters, 1,130 feet in length, spans 42 meters, 138 feet in width, and weighs in at 184,000 gross tons. Capable of carrying over 5,200 passengers and 1,800 crew, the Iona is a floating metropolis. Spread across 18 decks, it houses over 30 bars and restaurants, 4 swimming pools, and a breathtaking centerpiece, the Sky Dome. This enormous glass dome covers a pool area that transforms by night into an entertainment hub, hosting aerial shows, concerts, and dazzling light displays. But Iona's significance goes beyond scale or amenities. It is one of the first LNG-powered cruise ships in its class, significantly cutting emissions of sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and CO2. This makes it one of the greenest large cruise ships afloat, in line with modern environmental standards. Inside, guests experience themed neighborhoods, the tranquil oasis spa, the vibrant grand atrium, and more balcony cabins than any prior P&O vessel. With solar panels and a low-friction hull coating, Iona is as advanced as it is luxurious, a sleek, sustainable leviathan of the seas. Black Marlin, the floating giant that carries giants. Few vessels are as surreal or serve a more specialized purpose than the Black Marlin. Operated by Dockwise Shipping, a subsidiary of Boskalis, this semi-submersible heavy lift ship was built in 1999 in Taiwan to do what few others can: transport the untransportable. Measuring 217 meters, 712 feet in length and 42 meters, 138 feet wide, the Black Marlin is designed to carry massive floating structures like oil rigs, naval warships, and even other ships. Its standout feature is a 7,000 square meter cargo deck that can submerge below the surface, allowing enormous cargo to float directly above it. Then, the vessel deballasts, lifting its load out of the water, a process known as float-on, float-off. With a deadweight tonnage of over 76,000 tons and a payload capacity of 63,000 tons, the Black Marlin is vital to industries such as offshore oil, renewables, and military logistics. Its most famous mission was transporting the damaged USS Cole back to the US after the 2000 attack in Yemen. From oil platform installations to decommissioning projects, every voyage involves complex planning, custom engineering, and exact ballast control. Though slow-moving, the Black Marlin is a marine juggernaut, a dependable workhorse that moves giants across the seas. Costa Smeralda, an LNG-powered cruise city. Launched in 2019 by Costa Cruises, the Costa Smeralda is more than just a ship. It's a floating metropolis of entertainment, technology, and sustainability. Built by Meyer Turku in Finland, this Helios-class vessel measures 337 meters, 1,106 feet in length, 42 meters, 138 feet in width, and weighs over 185,000 gross tons, placing it among the fattest ships ever constructed by volume. It can carry up to 6,550 passengers and 1,600 crew across 20 expansive decks. As Costa's first LNG-powered cruise ship, it uses Wärtsilä dual-fuel engines capable of running entirely on liquefied natural gas, dramatically cutting emissions of sulfur oxides, particulate matter, and CO2. Every onboard system, from lighting and propulsion to spas and swimming pools, runs on this cleaner energy source. Inside, the ship is a self-sufficient resort with 1,550 cabins, a 3-deck atrium, shopping mall, water park, multiple pools, a 260-meter-long outdoor promenade, and even the Costa Design Museum showcasing Italian creativity. Architecturally, it resembles a tiered wedding cake, with flaring decks and rooftop spaces brimming with lounges, solar panels, and amphitheaters. However, its massive size limits port access and requires specialized LNG bunkering facilities. Still, it delivers a perfect blend of eco-conscious design, luxury, and sheer scale. Teik Tokyo, a forgotten giant of the oil boom. In the oil-fueled frenzy of the 1970s, few vessels embodied the era's ambition like the Teik Tokyo. Launched in 1973 during a time of soaring global demand for crude, it was one of the largest and heaviest oil tankers ever built, a true titan of maritime engineering. Constructed by Ishikawajima Harima Heavy Industries in Japan for Globe Tankers Limited, UK, the ship measured a staggering 378 meters, 1,240 feet, in length and 68 meters, 226 feet, in beam. With a deadweight tonnage of 483,000 tons, it could carry nearly 4 million barrels of crude oil, ranking among the fattest ULCVs in history. Driven by a steam turbine generating over 45,000 horsepower, it cruised at 15 knots, powered by immense quantities of fuel. Its design was unapologetically utilitarian, a flat, steel deck stretching endlessly above a maze of ballast tanks and bulkheads. Yet, its size posed challenges. With a draft over 82 feet, very few ports in the world could accommodate it. These ships were purpose-built for deep-sea routes, primarily hauling oil from the Middle East to Western markets, where economies of scale mattered more than flexibility. Retired and scrapped in Gadani, Pakistan during the 1980s, the Teik Tokyo stands today as a relic of an age when oil ruled the seas, and shipbuilders chased gigantism to meet its demands. Harmony of the Seas, a floating skyscraper of the sea. Harmony of the Seas, launched in 2016 by Royal Caribbean International, is one of the widest and most voluminous cruise ships ever built. As part of the Oasis class, it measures 362 meters, 1,188 feet, long and an impressive 66 meters, 217 feet, wide at the beam. At debut, it was the largest cruise ship by gross tonnage, displacing over 226,000 tons. Designed to carry 6,680 passengers and 2,300 crew, the ship essentially operates as a floating town. Its 18 decks, 24 elevators, and over 2,700 staterooms are arranged around neighborhoods, including a real central park with 20,000 live plants and a boardwalk complete with a carousel. This internal dual-hull layout gives the ship its unique, bulky midsection, more functional than aesthetic, but visually unforgettable. Powered by 6 diesel engines generating 96,000 kilowatts, Harmony is equipped with 3 Azipod thrusters and 4 bow thrusters, enabling it to cruise at 23 knots and dock with precision. Onboard amenities are equally massive: a 10-deck dry slide, ice rink, surf simulators, robotic bars, and a Broadway-style theater. From afar, it resembles a floating city block. Up close, it's a feat of modern engineering, redefining what's possible at sea. The TI Class Supertankers, the TI Class Supertankers, TI Africa, TI Asia, TI Europe, and TI Oceania are among the largest oil-carrying vessels ever built. Constructed between 2002 and 2003 by Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering in South Korea, they were originally commissioned by Hellespont and later sold to Euronav and the Overseas Shipholding Group. Each ship is classified as a ULCC, ultra-large crude carrier, measuring 380 meters, 1,246 feet, in length with a beam of 68 meters, 223 feet. With a staggering deadweight tonnage of 441,000 tons, these giants are capable of transporting over 3 million barrels of crude oil per voyage, roughly equivalent to Kuwait's daily oil output. Their immense size restricts them from navigating through the Suez or Panama canals, so they instead take long transoceanic routes, primarily connecting the Persian Gulf to Asia and Europe. Following the retirement of the Seawise giant, the Teik class assumed the mantle of the largest operating oil tankers. Today, 3 have been converted into floating storage and offloading units, FSOs, used as stationary oil storage hubs near coasts lacking deep-water ports. Outfitted with double hulls, inert gas systems, and 50,000 horsepower engines, these ships remain enduring symbols of oil-age maritime engineering. The Prelude FLNG, the largest floating object ever built. If one ship truly embodies the word FAT in size, function, and ambition, it's the Prelude FLNG, floating liquefied natural gas. This isn't just a ship, it's the largest floating offshore structure ever built, combining a gas refinery, storage terminal, and industrial platform, all in one massive mobile unit drifting off the Australian coast. Commissioned by Shell and built by Samsung Heavy Industries in South Korea, Prelude was launched in 2013 and towed to its site in the Browse Basin in 2017. Its goal? To extract, liquefy, and export natural gas directly at sea, eliminating the need for long pipelines or onshore facilities. The numbers are staggering. At 488 meters, 1,601 feet long and 74 meters, 243 feet wide, it's longer than 4 football fields laid end to end, and over 70 meters longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. Fully loaded, it displaces around 600,000 metric tons, more than 6 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. Yet, it floats. The Prelude processes 3.6 million tons of LNG per year, 1.3 million tons of condensate, and 4 million tons of LPG using a sophisticated onboard refinery. Inside are 7 cryogenic storage tanks, turret mooring systems, and gas pre-treatment units, each component an engineering feat in itself. Around 120 to 150 crew members live on board at any time, housed in self-contained quarters with kitchens, medical facilities, gyms, and recreation areas. It's both a workplace and a remote outpost, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest shore. But despite its scale, Prelude hasn't been smooth sailing. Technical failures halted operations in 2020 and 2021, raising safety and environmental concerns. Still, Shell resumed production in 2022, aiming for 25 years of uninterrupted operation. From above, it looks like a skyscraper lying flat on the sea, surreal, colossal, and unmatched. A floating factory, a steel city, and without question, a fat ship in every sense of the word. The BKA Vanguard, the ship that carries ships. At number 1, we have a ship so massive, so unique, and so visually surreal. It doesn't just carry cargo, it carries other ships. This is the BKA Vanguard, the largest semi-submersible heavy-lift vessel in the world. Operated by Dutch marine giant Boskalis, the Vanguard isn't your typical ship. It's a mobile floating platform designed to transport the untransportable, entire oil rigs, warships, and even other megaships. Launched in 2012 as the Dockwise Vanguard and built by Hyundai Heavy Industries, it instantly redefined maritime logistics. At 275 meters, 902 feet long, and 70 meters, 230 feet wide, it offers an incredible 20,000 square meters, 215,000 square feet of open deck space, large enough to lay the Eiffel Tower on its side. But the real magic lies in its submersible deck. The Vanguard uses ballast tanks to sink its entire cargo deck below sea level. Once the cargo floats above it, the ship deballasts, rising back up and lifting entire structures out of the water, all without cranes or docks. It can haul an astonishing 110,000 metric tons, more than a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, and still cruise at 14 knots, 16 miles per hour. Unlike conventional ships, its asymmetrical control tower is placed far to the starboard side, maximizing usable deck space and enabling it to carry cargo wider than the vessel itself. The Vanguard is vital to the construction and decommissioning of offshore platforms, enabling rigs to be built onshore and delivered whole, or retired in a single lift. It cuts down costs, risks, and offshore labor drastically. From afar, it looks like a floating dry dock. Up close, it's a monument of engineering power, a ship that redefines possibility. When it comes to fat ships, the BKA Vanguard doesn't just top the list, it is the list.